Couple of quick little updates. As folks might remember, a couple of weeks ago, I had a guest host in here. Her name was Laura Jackson, and she is currently running for State Committeewoman in the Hampden District. And she is actually making some good headway, despite the fact, and this is what really gets me. I've been to her last couple of RTC meetings, and I've got mixed emotions on that group of people. There are some on there, and one of them is the other state committeeman, and I don't mind coming out and saying this. I think he's a has-been. I think he is part of the problem and not part of the solution, and his maneuvering in the background. Well, this woman voiced her willingness and her excitement to run for this position and met with very cold response from the state committeeman. He was all but useless in providing her with information in a timely manner. As a matter of fact, he came out after the fact and said that he was actually promoting another woman from Springfield, who what I've read up on is another nobody, basically. She moves in little circles locally, but really has no real goals for the party, nothing that certainly looks any different. If I'm correct, I would expect that this person, and I'm talking about the state committeeman here, I think this is more political maneuvering. I think he's hoping to pair up a female lawyer from his first district to run for this seat with an assumed new GOP chair who is also a woman and a lawyer. I think he's looking for those political brownie points, political capital as these guys call it. They live and die for political capital, and I think this has-been is just stretching to be relevant within the Hampden district, and it's an absolute shame that Laura Jackson has not received a fair and equal at least exposure to the information. They need the list of RTC members to call and communicate with. It was impossible to get this list, and from my review of it, there were 3 different lists. The names aren't even the same, and as a matter of fact, there's members that aren't even shown on there. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on in the background, but I'm not very happy about it.
Well, it's kind of interesting. People are wondering, why is the Republican Party kind of dead in Massachusetts, and yet when new, fresh ideas come in, they're shut out.
Yeah.
And these people, it seems like they prefer to be to just complain about not being effective.
Yeah, they just keep they're chanting change. I swear, if I hear the word change one more time, I'm just going to absolutely projectile vomit.
It's pretty meaningless.
It is. It's had its run its course. Its usefulness.
It did its job. It worked for Obama.
It absolutely did. And
now we need to stop saying it.
And people are still looking for change. They don't know what he meant by change still.
Right.
Well, this guy here, his name's Bob McGovern. He's lost the last 2 elections that he ran for. I believe he ran for city council. I think he ran for state rep. And many years ago, he used to win a lot of elections. But
he's not a real go-getter, from what I saw.
No. I think he's a little neocon butt kisser, and he's his useful days are behind him. I think he's irrelevant now, and I'm personally going to look forward to campaigning for whoever his replacement is, and I got somebody in mind too. Absolute shame what what he's tried to do. To the chairman's credit, I'll have to admit, it appears that the chairman of their RTC is going to attempt to be impartial on this. He claims that he wants to, support anybody from their own committee that's running for office, but
including
secondly,
Laura?
Yes, by default, he said everybody in that group.
Yeah.
And that includes Laura. And he, in a recent email exchange, said that he wants whoever's going to do best for the party to rebuild the party. And in that case, I would definitely urge people to take a closer look at Laura Jackson. I know for a fact that she has hosted meetings in her home every single Monday for a good
about a
year.
Yeah. She's very active and very resourceful.
Yeah. And if you read her website, it does claim that she is not a politician. She is an activist. So she's not looking to be the next senator of the state or a U.S. senator or anything like that. She's looking to inject and rejuvenate the Republican Party here and reinstate the message.
Get it back on track.
Yeah, and she's one that's not afraid to point the finger of guilt at the neocons. They are the ones that destroyed that party, just like they tried to do the Democrats back in the 80s. Well, they did a very good job of all but killing the Republican Party, and I blame most of it on these neocons and the rest on the lethargic conservatives that actually still exist there, but very quietly, remain compliant. Well, we got one more call-in to do here. This next gentleman is actually running for the GOP chairmanship here in the state of Massachusetts. As promised, we have another call-in speaker who's going to be talking to us for a little bit. His name is Mike Franco. A couple of weeks ago, we had a little bit of a shifting in those candidates that were running for the GOP chairmanship here in the state of Massachusetts. I thought we had a couple of candidates that were lined up, one of which is Jennifer Nassauer, who is still in the running. But another candidate pulled his name, and very quickly, Mike Franco stepped up to the plate and is now running for this position. Dale, have you got Mike on the line?
Yes, here he is, Dave.
Mike, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
Thank you very much for coming on the show today. And I got a couple of questions. One is I was hoping that you'd be able to tell us a little bit more about yourself and some of your accomplishments. And second is what your plans for changing the Mass GOP were. And please don't tell me change, because as I told Dale, I'm going to have to projectile vomit if I hear that word again. So if you would, Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm a native of Massachusetts, in particular Western Massachusetts. I have a degree in business marketing from Westfield State College and a master's in business from the University of Texas. Also, I'm a retired Air Force Reserve officer, 23 years, and I work for the City of Holyoke as a veteran service agent. Very active in the community, and I've run for public office several times, once for state rep and twice for governor's council. Been active in local politics in the GOP, trying to build up the party ranks from the grassroots up.
Now, would you consider yourself a politician or an activist?
Well, I'm a little bit of both, because you have to be to survive. I have to be slightly political to survive in the political environment. It's it really is a blood sport, but you can die 1,000 deaths. But I am an activist. I try to get the job done. I work very hard. I think the organizational structure is key. We have to protect the integrity of the organizations that support us, especially on the local level, and that's where my focus is.
So you see the solution for the GOP not being from the top down, but being more of a grassroots effort in reiterating and restating what the Republican Party stands for?
Yeah, the Republican Party has a platform nationally, of course, and the Massachusetts GOP has a platform, but it doesn't really follow the principles of the national program, I think, which are very sound issues and stances on particular issues. I'd like to see the Massachusetts GOP adhere to those agenda items or those platform items more. We can't expect miracles. Many of us think differently. My opponent and I are two very different Republicans. I think we're as different as two Republicans can be and still be in the same party rank. But our approach is going to be very different. We're different fundamentally in that I think how we're going to work, how we work within the system, where we're going to bring the party, and what we know from our background and our experiences. Jennifer Nassauer and I are very, very different in those three key areas. I think the organization is very important. The grassroots is very important. Town and city committees and how they work with the regional GOP groups is very important and key.
Well, you don't have